Hello, everybody. Today I am talking about how I went through and got this 0.1% achievement. Now, the achievement claims that you must have no armor on, no helmet, and you are not allowed to use a shield. I'm not sure if you're allowed to use flash launchers or not. I believe you're not allowed. It didn't specify specifically, but we did not use flash launchers. Now, I will tell you what we did use. We used this new rifle with this setup. I believe I was using the suppressor at the time, if I remember correctly, and I used a Glock 18-C. Now, this is the one of the new weapons, and I will be talking about that in a showcase, but really quickly, this weapon is very handy and helpful for this challenge. And I do also want to point something else out that people may not know is that you do not need to have everybody in the game, and this is kind of cheesing it, have all of the items to do the achievement. So basically, if let's say I am doing this and I'm fully armored and I am, basically doing this, not doing this challenge, and my friend is doing this challenge, he just has to wear the armor and he just has to live. So he can hang back and do whatever. Now, another thing I want to point out right now, right here, is that you can use these windows. And for some reason, there is an odd thing where the FPS, if you look very carefully, the FPS through this window is really bad. Now, you'll notice that they're kind of like dashing around and kind of like skipping around, really low frames per second. But what you can do is that you can shoot suspects with weapons and they will not see you nor return fire, to my understanding. Now, obviously, this is very difficult and this takes some time. Now, there's going to be a lot of movement at first. And my role when I was playing with my other friend was I was just holding the side here and I would just very carefully kind of just keep pieing. There is also one on the top floor that you want to deal with. So deal with him, do a couple shots, and take your time. You don't need to like push or rush out or anything. Try to get headshots, take your time, try to calculate the height over bore. It's basically like just below the red marker. Also take in consideration your angle of your canted sight when you are leaning. That also can be a thing. But once everyone's kind of active and running around, I usually just hung on this corner for a very long time. And I'd basically like keep pieing out as much as I could until I would see people like this and take them out. This is on hard mode for clarification. You just keep pieing, you just see and shoot what you can and just kind of keep going. It's honestly insanely easy once you kind of get going. The hard thing is entering and not having someone, sprint across the room and deal like, essentially kill you one shot, like how they usually do. People know. If you've been playing Ready or Not, you kind of know what I'm talking about already. And you do have this option of being over here. Now, obviously, you got to watch your shot, because I do think you need a passing grade, if I'm not mistaken. But you can use this angle when you need to shoot. I didn't really do this, so I'm not sure if this is a friendly or not. I'm going to take the shot anyway, just to kind of illustrate this. But I can shoot this target and then have them not actually attack me back. Actually, that was a guy with a gun. But you can take very safe shots. So like, I know this guy's this guy kind of looks like Eminem, but a lot of these guys look like Eminem. But yeah, so this is kind of like technique that you're going to be doing. Now, you could probably do this solo, honestly. When you start pushing up, then it gets a little bit more annoying. So like, I saw a guy over here somewhere. You can kind of give call outs. Like I did this with like basically two people. And by two people, I mean myself and one other person. And I did try it with a third, but we were just kind of like trying to figure out the strategy. But this is like the start of really clearing out the map. Take your time with this, kind of scan, have that, 12 times scope. So if you want to take those hostage shots, clear and be like, oh, I see a guy here and he has a weapon maybe, right? Just take your time with this. And then you can also have somebody or you yourself be checking from this side. Make sure that you identify that they have the phone out, not a gun. They do have their hands up. So just be aware of that. A lot of them do look hostile, but essentially, as I'm taking out these guys, my friend was taking out the guys from the window. So I see that guy is like, he has like a, bluish hoodie and this, but I can take this guy out. I have armor and currently right now, obviously if I didn't have armor, that could have been a potential death. But this is kind of like just the start. Once you kind of get past this and you're able to go into the main area, obviously take cover where you can, because Obviously, it's going to be nice to have cover since you don't have any armor. So like, here's a cover spot that people won't really talk about. It does suck that a guy just got shot. I think it was a civilian. But yeah, you would be using these blinds as a way of killing the targets. Something else I do want to point out, these rooms, enemies can be in those rooms. So I want you to be very aware of that when you are pushing up. Be watching those angles. If you are going to have people who aren't doing the challenge, let them go first. You just sit back and hang out, don't die. And if they complete it, you just get the achievement. That is the cheesiest way you can get the achievement. I also want to point out these sightlines specifically. If you open the front doors here on either one of them, sometimes they're locked, oftentimes they are. Just get this open. And same with here. You'll notice this sightline right here, where you can actually see the top upper floor. So if you do miss those initial shots against those guys, you can actually use this sightline to check the upper balcony area, because they can run around here, and it can be kind of annoying if you miss the first shots. But honestly, this challenge is a lot easier than you might think it is. Just make sure you're tackling the angles, taking your time, just pie off every corner. Once everyone is kind of cleared, as I said, there are these rooms and there are windows outside, but I don't recommend going to them. Make sure you shoot them so you don't have to worry about the glare if you do decide to pie off these. But a lot of the time, anytime this door was opened by the suspects, my friends would usually die here, and from what I had been seeing, because I was on the other side of the map. But I do recommend not trying to kill suspects through here. If you are, just be super careful. Use mirror gun if you have to, like break the glass, use mirror gun, and just kind of like very carefully inch forward like this. I don't recommend actually going around this corner. I don't know, just they seem to one-shot you very quickly, and it's not really worth the effort of trying to get that. It's probably much safer to clear actually from like the door itself once you're inside. And make sure to identify the weapon first. Don't shoot anybody unless you see the weapon. Now, I did not actually record my footage while I was doing this. I was initially helping my friend try to get this achievement. It was just me and him. Initially, it was a third person with us, so we did have 3 people. But it ended up just being me and my friend clearing this map. It's the second map, the bank map. It needs to be done on hard mode, as I said, with all those other restrictions on it. I used the mirror gun for this because I didn't want the launchers to somehow not let me get the achievement. But I'm going to kind of discuss how I went through this map with these weapons, the setup, and the strategy we used, because this strategy we used was very interesting and odd. Now, there are a couple things about Ready or Not where there's issue with certain types of sightlines. Now, I did turn on my recording once I actually finished that part and kind of defeated the last enemy. This was honestly insane. I wish I was recording. Hilariously, the attempt that I soloed and got successfully done, basically I cleared the whole area, generally speaking, with my house, by myself, the top and lower bank vault floor. I did have my other friend clear with me, of course, the main area with all the rioters and all that other stuff, but then I can't remember how he died, but I had to clear the top and I think the bottom solo. Obviously no armor, no grenades, no helmet, all that stuff. And I got so lucky. It was insane. I'll be talking about it and showing a little bit of pieces of footage. Sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be him, because you do need to be alive to get this achievement. If you do it with a group of people, it is important that you have them stay alive to get that achievement, because as far as I know, if you die, you don't get that achievement. That's why I had to help my friend get it after. So we had to do it a couple times. And honestly, the next few times we did it, it was actually much smoother and it was a lot easier, weirdly enough. Once you get that strategy down, it becomes very, very easy. So I do want to point out one more thing. During when I was doing this actual challenge, or, you know, trying to get this achievement, which I didn't even really know about, didn't really care too much about, but once I got it, man, was it wild. But when it comes to the strategy for this, now, honestly, once you kind of get the strategy down, you get the concept, you know how to work the doors, all that stuff, it does become a lot easier. Now, as I said, sadly, I did not have the actual whole entire time I was completing it, but I do have footage of when I died and my friend went on. It was super, super late at night. It was just like in the morning, like we had been staying up all night. We were just like kind of playing and whatever, doing whatever. And then we decided to go for this achievement, and it was so like we were tired as hell. I was tired. I was exhausted. I could barely keep my eyes open, honestly. But once, you know, we did it a couple times, but we went through it. I got it. I had to, my friend ended up dying. I sold the rest of it. The next time I was trying to help him get it again. And of course I was basically gassed at this point, honestly. And my friend, my friend, he got it as well. I was so pumped for him as well. It was a wild high octane situation. We were both pumping each other up about, you know, how well we did. And it was a really great time. It was such a fun experience. I'm so glad this DLC is out. I've been having so much fun with this. But so once you do that kind of first area of the map, that's kind of like the hardest part most of the time, in my opinion. Then going down the stairs, that's kind of the next hardest part. So you just kind of have to slowly stay on the stairs. Don't kind of cross over too far to the right. As you can see, we're kind of like slowly pieing this. Use Alt lean, like using the Alt button to lean. So it'll be a stationary hold, and you lean in that direction. And just kind of like, you just kind of let go of it, and then you move a little bit, and then you press it again, and you can lean again. So kind of what's being illustrated right here is kind of like inching forward bit by bit, and then you can see suspects, and you can just take the shot a lot of the time at these distances, at these, if you have the correct angles and the correct kind of distances between, you know, the area that you're looking at, you can basically shoot them without them even seeing you. Now, it is important to note that they will sometimes push you and rush you, and that's going to be an issue. So I want you to stay on this kind of angle on the stairs. This way, if you just need to retreat back to the left, they push the stairs, you still have the angle of them going up the stairs, and you can shoot back. So having a good angle, so if they are going to sprint in one direction, you can take them out pretty easily most of the time. This is not the specific angle I'm talking about, but it's important to note like the actual the angles. And of course I have someone helping me behind me when of course I die here, but he's just my cover if I need to back up and fall back to cover. He can hold that angle if I need to bandage up and stuff. So, and you can use your scope to kind of see inside the windows. Try to stay away from the windows when once you get down past those stairs. Once you're back kind of past these stairs, you're going to check the left side hallway. So there's going to be sometimes a civilian down there. Sometimes there's going to be a suspect. Just kind of like jiggle peek it. You just got to kind of quickly do a free lean and then let go of it and kind of just peek and see who's there. Kind of like this. But I actually got shot from a different angle. I didn't get shot from him. And then my friend has to do the rest of the work. So I was trying to get the achievement for the person who is behind this guy right now. And obviously he's putting in work and trying to get the angles and just kind of take over the role here. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead to kind of show you how to get down the stairs safely. Obviously, I just had a very unlucky moment because obviously if you're trying to do this solo or something, it's going to happen. You know, you're going to get shot when somebody runs out and you can't really secure that distance safely. Obviously, if you had grenades, you could, but obviously you don't. So once you kind of like pie off this area in the front of you, as I said, you want to take that shot down the hallway as best you can, try to deal with any issue, because that's where you are going to be going down once you go down the stairs. So once you are here, you just want to go along the railing of the stairs because you don't want to overexpose yourself to the left side area further down there. Once you kind of clear the right room windows, then you're good. You got to deal with the left, and then you just kind of want to clear them out, see if you can take a shot through the window if you have a clear shot. You're probably not going to, and you're just going to want to cover behind, there's like a white kind of box. You just want to cover behind that box, take those shots. It gives you kind of body cover, and you can use it as like kind of a defensive angle. And you're just going to be like pieing, and then once you kind of get to this area, you just kind of have to yell, use your flashlight to aggro them. If you think you have a shot on them, take the shot through the wall if you can. I'm not sure if these walls are penetrable, but you just really have to take your time and pie this is kind of angle off, and then eventually you will obviously get it. It does help if you have, as I said, you can kind of cheese it by having people who have a whole loadout and everything, flashbangs and armor, and then you just don't have that setup. You just have what you need required for the achievement, and as long as you survive, you'll get the achievement. So now here's my friend's attempt. When I got it for him, it was just me and him. This is his actual successful attempt. I'm just going to kind of go over it again, just in terms of like how you want to go down the stairs. This is kind of the limit of which you want to like go in terms of distance to the right. A lot of the time you just want to try to get down the stairs and kind of pie down there a little bit better. You can pie from this angle, but you just have to make sure that that right side is clear. and then you just want to make sure you're going down the stairs to try to clear the rest of it. Make sure you can kind of clear those angles first, and then right here, he was actually just blind firing at random locations, so we just kind of chose his moment, and then he kind of pushed and took the shot and took him out. So, and honestly, so another important thing about this kind of situation, make sure you're just taking your time with it. A lot of the time, also, if you have one civilian die, it's okay. You just need to get an E rank, which is just like barely a pass, essentially. So as long as you have, you know, everyone tied up, and the civilians tied up, and you can, I think you can get away with one, maybe two, I'm not sure, civilian deaths, you should still be okay. As long as you have, you know, everything tied up, generally speaking, one weapon might not be a big deal, but generally speaking, that's going to be what you want. And then, of course, you can get that achievement and you'll get it. So, as I said, I probably recommend just cheesing it, having a couple friends, you know, do it, and you just, you know, have your armor on, have no armor on for the achievement. But anyway, that's it for the video. If you have any questions about this, just ask in the comments. I'm not sure if I missed anything. I didn't go into super big detail, but I just kind of just touched on small things. But anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching and have a good day.
Here it comes.
Police, get down! Police!
I just shot this guy 15 times, bruh, and he didn't die.